Shanti, and a very good morning from Aberdeen Hindu Temple in Stonywood. Today is the 29th of January, the last Sunday of the month. And so it is the month of efforts. It's the month to actually create a foundation for the year. And how have I used this month? I've really used this month in trying to go more into tapasya, into deep meditation. And what has helped me in the mornings is particularly my time at Amrit Vela, which is the time from 4 to 4:45, which is a time in the world where there's no activity or very little activity. Those who've been partying the whole night, they are gone to bed or sleepy or sleeping. And those who are due to get up early, they're still sleeping. So it's a time where human activity is at its lowest level, and where also the activity in the animal kingdom, in nature, is very low. If you remind yourself, it is usual that at that time of the morning, even the sea is very, very, very peaceful and calm. It gives you that beautiful vibration of nature, of peace, of tranquility. And this is the time where we can make effort and where we can progress and where we can actually have that deep chit-chat with the Supreme. But for that, I need to go into the awareness of I, the soul, the being of light, seated in the center of the forehead, in between my eyebrows. I have to go into the awareness of the soul, into what it feels to be a soul. So the soul is peaceful. So first of all, I have to sit very still and very silent. And I also have to still my thoughts from wandering around here and there. And slowly, slowly also ask my body to be peaceful, no fidgeting, no moving about, but just peaceful and relaxed and quiet. And when I'm in that situation, in that awareness, I can start to actually experience the sweetness that is inside. When I have allowed myself to become detached from the world out there and engaged with the world inside. And my aim and objective is really to transform myself. And therefore, that transformation will come through self-transformation. So I have to be my own teacher, my own guide in all of that. I have to have that determination and that will to create that sweetness inside myself, that peace and that harmony. And that peace and harmony is really a form of contentedness, a form of lightness and sweetness that I experience inside. That gives me that feeling of being safe, of being happy, to have constant happiness, and not to engage with any negativity that is out there. Now, negativity and sorrow is out there, but I have to be so strong, so determined, so peaceful, so loving, and so cooperative that I don't engage in that negativity. But just like a tree full of ripe fruit, because when I stay in that meditation, I create that beautiful, sweet, tasty, fragrant fruit inside myself. Like a tree full of fruit, I just bow down, my branches bow down, and I just give and easily share my treasures, my jewels with those around me and those who want to come to me. And in the giving, there is also a lot of receiving, because everybody will then remember where they can get this beautiful, sweet, and lovely fruit. And so, whilst in the world there will be sorrow, and we will come across of pictures of extreme sorrow and extreme peacelessness and injustice and violence and all these things. While we see these things, we have to stay detached and not be pulled into the feeling, into the emotion. And at the same time, we have to be like Arjuna, who actually stepped into the battlefield, just knowing that he was alone, but he had the company of God. And he started his battle with the forces of evil, even if they were part of his community, of his close relations. And he showed the courage of doing things first and showing that there can be goodness in the world, showing that there can be accuracy, there can be a positive personality, a positive outcome to things. And if I'm connected with God, with the Supreme Being, the Supreme Light, who is the Almighty for all of us, no matter in what form or name we actually experience this being to be. But it is the force of good, it's the force of benevolence, it's the force of bestowing and of guiding and of giving support in times of difficulty. And so when I'm connected, when I'm combined with the Supreme, and that is the act of yoga, that is the method of yoga, is to connect my soul with the Supreme Soul. And in that link of yoga, experience the vibrations, experience the power of the Supreme, the love of the Supreme. And then be the transmitter, be the instrument through whom this energy, this vibration is shared with the world. And so this is the time now to do it, because when we see all this sorrow, this pain, this violence happening in the world, when we see that nature is unsettled, nature is sometimes hot, sometimes cold, well, we need to protect ourselves from that. But then we need to cooperate, and we need to bestow as much as we can. We need to be the examples as Arjuna, who was the one who did it first and who actually took the step of courage to change things and to bring them back into goodness. And so to receive is really to give. To give is really to receive. And the sign of those who are full and who are able to give is that they are unshakable. They are like Angat, they are unshakable. No matter what is in front of them, they will be able to stay peaceful and positive and to maintain their own positive, beneficial sanskars or personality traits and interact in that way, and therefore become the leaders that are going to help others to take courage, to feel safe, and to create an environment, an atmosphere where there's goodness and where there is peace and love. Because that transformation of the world into a world of peace and love, of cooperation, of benevolence, where we will all feel safe, can only happen through the power of our mind, through the power of our yoga, through our connection with the divine. Because all the armaments, all the missiles and manpower that armies might bring up will only create more war and more pain and sorrow and loss. Whereas through the power of benevolence, we can change and transform the lives of others, and they will want to be there. It is like when you come into a spiritual place, and in that spiritual place, there has been the vibration of service, of good wishes, of divine thoughts and actions, divine in the way that they are benevolent, that they are pure, that they are well-wishing, that they are there for the upliftment of everybody who comes into that space. So when people come into this space, they will feel that there is something different from what they feel out there. And therefore they will want to come more and more into that space. So our spiritual effort is to create that environment and make that environment powerful. And so when we come into our temples and our mosques, we actually connect with the divine. We connect with that what is beautiful. We connect with what is beneficial and will actually help and strengthen the soul. And the soul then becomes healthy, becomes well, and is not distracted by the negative, by the violence, the sorrow that they see around them. And so everybody will experience that happiness. And so in your spiritual practice, think about, where are you just now? And what is it that you have to do to actually come to that point? Or maybe you are already at that point where you just feel happiness inside and give happiness, where you are the one who is engaged with positive and beneficial thoughts of upliftment, who has a vision that is only beneficial, benevolent, and where that vision doesn't see the faults of others, but actually sees their perfect form, the divine form, the form of the perfect person in front without the baggage of all this old world. Now for this, I need to detach myself from this old world. For this, I need to just find peace and quiet so that I can look inside. I can see into the mirror of my own self and see the flaws that are inside myself. And just slowly, slowly, through that awareness, start to remove them, so that only that positive, beautiful personality can shine out. So let us go into meditation. Take a nice deep breath and feel comfortable wherever you're sitting. Make sure you're warm and comfortable. And if it's not so warm, then just become warm inside. And the space around you will become warm and you will feel warm. Allow the soul, the being of light, in the center of your forehead to be awakened. Like a diamond shining in the center of your forehead. The soul has the form like the point of light behind me, which is the same form as the soul of the Supreme Soul. What makes the difference is the power that is in the soul, the beauty that lies in the soul. And in this moment, we are connecting with our beautiful parts, recognizing with tolerance and with benevolence whatever there is that we would wish that would change in ourselves. Become very peaceful. Detach yourself from the world around you. Look at the treasures that are inside your heart and inside your soul. The treasures of love, the treasures of compassion, of care, of wisdom, of study, of respect, of humility, of goodwill and good wishes. What are your treasures? Look inside your soul and put those treasures, those beautiful qualities that you have, as adornments on yourself. Give yourself medals of what you have achieved. Give yourself the tilak of awareness and perhaps the crown of sovereignty. When you achieve all those beautiful things, just see yourself and go into the simplicity of the self, because there's beauty in that simplicity. See yourself as a beautiful flower. It may be a simple country flower or a beautiful royal rose. And your duty and your awareness and your wishes are here to serve the world. To serve the world with your good vibrations. To share that beauty with the world and make the world beautiful. For others to appreciate. For others to enjoy and encourage them to become beautiful as well. Like a snake, shed the skin of all the old or sorrowful experiences of the past and come into the now, come into this space and time with a vision of creating beauty and goodness and cooperation in your world, and to be like a guiding light for others to follow in this time of darkness. Because when we live in a conscious way, when we share our goodness with others, There is plenty for everyone, and nothing is lacking in the treasure store of the self. Now connect with the divine. Allow your soul, your awareness, your consciousness to expand. And allow yourself to become subtle, like an angel. And to go beyond this physical world into a world of stillness, of peace and lightness. Allow yourself to come in front of the divine, that soul that never ever takes a body and is always benevolent, is always full of good wishes and pure feelings. And create a beautiful garden of values in your heart and in your mind. You may have roses and bougainvilleas and jasmine, other fragrant flowers and medicinal flowers. So have a garden of lavender and rosemary, so that there is self-sufficiency when I need values, when I need qualities, I can express them. And I can do so constantly, without any gaps. Because my awareness, myself, through this spiritual practice has become stable, strong, firm, paka, and yet light and loving. Let me be an example, and as such do whatever others do not entertain to do, to bring goodness and to bring love and harmony into this world. Even if others are not doing it, let me not be encouraged to do less, but do more. Let me be the one who brings the change to this world, and therefore become a leader in making the change in this world, knowing that my companion is the Supreme. And when I'm connected in yoga with the Supreme, this is the proof of love. Now ask yourself, what is true love? What is true love? Is it dependent on anything? Or is it unlimited, abundant, unwavering, not selective, but universal? And in that connection, that relationship with the One, I create beauty and I change the atmosphere of this world into an atmosphere of goodness, of abundance, of simplicity, and yet beauty beyond measure. And this world around me, nature and living beings, will take on this energy and will vibrate it back, completely grateful and appreciative of the beauty that they are experiencing. Because it is the duty of those who are half awakened to bring goodness and to bring beauty into this world. This is the time of immense suffering in the world, a time that those who have awakened can transform with the power of thought, with their intention, with their actions, and with their good wishes to the world. Become like a lighthouse that dispels the darkness and that becomes a guiding light for those who are lost at sea, telling them of any dangers and allowing them to continue their travels safely. Experience happiness inside, in the awareness of who you are and what you do. And that in the company of the Supreme, you know that you're protected. You're constantly happy and successful. It is the duty of obstacles to come, but it's your powerful awareness that will overcome them without any difficulties. With the lightness on how a hair is pulled through butter. With the awareness of being safe and protected in the company of the One. Your soul connected in yoga with the Supreme Soul. Creating waves of peace and cooperation, of tolerance and upliftment, all around 360 degrees around you. Experience that deep contentedness, that deep love inside. Having recognized the Supreme and having awakened your soul. And as an awakened soul, you have the duty to uplift the world. To be the one who is the one who takes the action towards goodness, towards betterment. The one who has courage, but carries the powers, the treasures of peace and wisdom, of power and love inside. And who serves the world with that awareness, not looking at others, but focused and concentrated, because this is a time of need. Sending waves of peace and love and wisdom and happiness to the world. Om means I am. My nature is, my essence is, my personality is, and Shanti, peace. I am a peaceful soul. Om Shanti. And I give the greeting of peace, of love, of tolerance, of accommodation, of discernment, of upliftment to the whole world. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Have a wonderful day.